America. The name evokes images of vast landscapes, bustling cities, and boundless possibility. Founded on liberty, equality, and opportunity, a beacon of hope for generations. Yet beneath this facade lies a complex history, marked by triumph and tragedy. America's story is one of struggle between its aspirations and flaws. From its earliest days, America has grappled with contradictions. The Declaration proclaimed equality, yet slavery cast a long shadow. Built on the backs of enslaved Africans, their labor fueled economic growth. This hypocrisy haunted America, leading to its bloodiest conflict. Despite challenges, the American dream remains powerful, drawing millions to its shores. Immigrants seek freedom and opportunity to build a better life. Their stories are woven into American identity, a testament to hope and renewal. But the path to this dream is not easy. America's history is filled with marginalized stories and denied rights. The struggle for equality and justice, from civil rights to economic justice, continues today. The story of America begins with a revolutionary idea that government derives its just powers from the consent of the governed. This radical notion, enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, ignited a fire that would forever alter the course of human history. The Founding Fathers crafted a republic founded on liberty, equality, and self-determination. However, this democracy was built on contradictions. They spoke of freedom while condoning slavery. Slavery stood in stark contrast to the Declaration's ideals. This hypocrisy would eventually tear the nation apart.
Adding to this was the displacement of Native Americans. Settlers encroached upon indigenous lands, leading to conflict. Westward expansion is a story of violence and dispossession. The nation grappled with its identity, torn between ideals and realities. This struggle shaped American history for generations.
The issue of slavery, long a source of tension and division, finally came to a head in 1861 with the outbreak of the Civil War. The nation, fractured along the lines of slavery and states' rights, engaged in a bloody conflict that would claim hundreds of thousands of lives and leave an indelible mark on the American psyche. The Civil War was a brutal test of the nation's resolve, a crucible from which a new America would emerge. The Union victory preserved the Union and ended the barbaric practice of slavery, but the road to reconciliation and true equality would be long and arduous.
The South, devastated by the war and resistant to change, clung to its traditions and prejudices. Reconstruction efforts, aimed at rebuilding the South and integrating freed slaves into society, faced fierce resistance and ultimately fell short of their goals. The legacy of slavery and the Civil War cast a long shadow over American society. Jim Crow laws in the South enforced segregation and discrimination, denying African Americans basic civil rights. Lynchings, terror, and violence became a horrific part of life for many African Americans, a stark reminder of the deep-seated racism that permeated American society. The struggle for equality continued, however, fueled by the courage and determination of countless individuals who refused to be silenced. The civil rights movement of the 20th century, with its iconic leaders and powerful message of nonviolent resistance, challenged the nation to confront its history and live up to its ideals.
The decades following World War II witnessed an unprecedented period of economic expansion in the United States. The war-ravaged economies of Europe and Asia created a demand for American goods, while technological advancements fueled industrial growth and created new jobs. This economic boom led to a dramatic rise in living standards for many Americans, as homeownership, education, and consumer goods became increasingly accessible. The American dream, once a distant aspiration for many, seemed within reach. Images of suburban homes, shiny cars, and happy families became synonymous with the American way of life. Consumerism flourished, fueled by mass media and a growing middle class eager to embrace the fruits of their newfound prosperity.
However, beneath the veneer of prosperity, deep inequalities persisted. African Americans, despite the gains of the civil rights movement, continued to face discrimination in housing, education, and employment. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, as the benefits of economic growth were not evenly distributed. The American dream, it became increasingly clear, was not a guarantee, but rather a promise that remained elusive for many. The struggle for economic justice and equality continued as marginalized communities fought for their fair share of the American pie.
The latter part of the 20th century brought significant economic and political shifts to the United States.
Deindustrialization, driven by globalization and automation, led to the decline of manufacturing jobs in the United States, hollowing out industrial cities and leaving many working-class Americans struggling to adapt.
The rise of the service economy, with its lower wages and fewer benefits, further exacerbated economic inequality. The gap between the rich and the poor continued to widen, as did the divide between those who benefited from the new global economy and those who felt left behind.
This economic anxiety and uncertainty fueled a growing sense of political polarization. The two major political parties, Democrats and Republicans, drifted further apart on issues such as trade, immigration, and the role of government.
This polarization was amplified by the rise of cable news and later social media, which created echo chambers where people were increasingly exposed to information that confirmed their existing biases.
Political discourse became more divisive, with each side demonizing the other and viewing their opponents as a threat to the nation's future. This erosion of trust and civility made it increasingly difficult to find common ground and address the pressing challenges facing the country.
The 21st century dawned with both promise and uncertainty. The technological advancements of the digital age brought about unprecedented opportunities for communication, innovation, and global interconnectedness.
However, this new era also brought forth a host of new challenges, testing the resilience and resolve of the American spirit. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, shook the nation to its core. The images of the Twin Towers collapsing, a symbol of American might brought down by an act of hatred, left an indelible scar on the national psyche.
The attacks ushered in an era of heightened security, both at home and abroad, as the United States launched the War on Terror, with far-reaching consequences.
Just as the nation began to grapple with the implications of this new reality, the financial crisis of 2008 struck with devastating force. The collapse of the housing market, fueled by risky lending practices and lax regulation, triggered a global recession that wiped out trillions of dollars in wealth and left millions unemployed.
The crisis exposed the vulnerabilities of the interconnected global economy and raised profound questions about the sustainability of the American dream.
In the aftermath of these crises, political divisions deepened, fueled by economic anxiety, social unrest, and a growing sense of disillusionment with the political establishment. The rise of populism, both on the left and the right, reflected a widespread dissatisfaction with the status quo and a yearning for change.
As the United States navigates the complexities of the 21st century, it faces a confluence of challenges that demand attention and action.
Climate change, with its increasingly urgent warnings from scientists and its growing impact on weather patterns and natural disasters, looms large as a defining issue of our time. The debate over how to address this global crisis, often mired in partisan gridlock and misinformation, has become a defining characteristic of American politics.
Healthcare remains a source of national debate and division, with millions lacking access to affordable and comprehensive coverage. The COVID-19 pandemic further exposed the flaws in the American healthcare system, highlighting the disparities in access and outcomes based on race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status.
The struggle for social justice continues, fueled by the persistent realities of systemic racism, police brutality, and mass incarceration. The Black Lives Matter movement, ignited by the killings of unarmed Black Americans, has forced a long overdue reckoning with the legacy of racial injustice in America, sparking nationwide protests and calls for meaningful reform.
The American experiment, once a beacon of hope for a world yearning for freedom and opportunity, now finds itself at a crossroads. The challenges ahead are daunting, demanding courage, compassion, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. The path forward requires a recommitment to the founding ideals of equality, justice, and opportunity for all. The story of America is an unfinished symphony, a work in progress that continues to evolve with each passing generation. It is a story of aspiration and achievement, but also one of struggle, sacrifice, and the persistent pursuit of a more perfect union.
From the founding ideals of liberty and equality to the ongoing battles for civil rights and social justice, the American journey has been marked by both progress and setbacks, triumphs and tragedies. The challenges facing the nation today are complex and interconnected, demanding innovative solutions and a willingness to bridge divides.
The path forward will require a renewed commitment to dialogue, empathy, and a shared sense of purpose. It will demand leadership that inspires hope, not fear, and policies that prioritize the common good over partisan interests. Despite the challenges, the spirit of America endures.
It is a spirit of resilience, ingenuity, and a belief in the power of collective action to overcome adversity. It is a spirit embodied in the countless acts of kindness, generosity, and courage that define the American character.
The future of America remains unwritten, a tapestry woven from the choices made by each generation. It is a future filled with both promise and uncertainty, but one that ultimately rests on the shoulders of those who believe in the enduring power of the American dream.
As the nation navigates the complexities of the 21st century, it will be the spirit of unity, courage, and a commitment to justice that will ultimately determine its destiny.